Good morning, colleagues of the 25th Navajo Nation Council. I hope you all had a good weekend, and some of you possibly went to the Navajo Nation, the Nebatea PRCA rodeo. I understand it went very well. I wasn't able to go. And then also to our legislative services staff, good morning. And let's get this Resources and Development Committee meeting out of the way. And then also to our visiting guests here that are present in the Natani boardroom here at Navajo Department of Transportation. And as always, we're always thankful to Navajo Department of Transportation for allowing us to utilize their facility for our regular Resources and Development Committee meeting. So at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 10:17 a.m. And Rodney, if you could please take roll call vote.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for Resource and Development Committee, the 25th Navajo Nations Council's regular meeting for Monday, June 3rd, 2024 at 10 a.m. at roll call. Honorable Brenda Jesus.
Present.
Honorable Brenda Jesus is present. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson.
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson is present.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson is present. Honorable Shauna N. Clark. Honorable Ricky Nez.
Delegate Rick Nez is present.
Honorable Ricky Nez is present. Honorable Danny Simpson.
Here.
Honorable Danny Simpson is present. Honorable Otto So excused. Madam Chair, you have 4 members present, which constitute a quorum for this regular meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Rodney. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and ask my brother Shania, Honorable Chair Nez, if you could please open this meeting up with invocation for us, Ashonda.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members, and everybody who are here with us this morning, those that are listening as well. As we always do, we're very thankful for the day and thankful for our lives and the work that we do. So let us go to our Heavenly Father in prayer at this time. Nehit ka nihdigen ka aganaho arahan long na nation. In a ben ik just slip on zate. Nikio cotton lido in a ben and kin. Hada then in unshnatna. An in shank and any benina a inch ronda in the crumpsen. In Nahiki Nios Ashmoda a quichen. Yateho cro. Dahini narolana elende. Oba so they send over canicachon in the. But on the head in da ELG, a down nation, all iniquities after G-Sickle, even in the Ecuador, don't da ELG, the Nico Aid on Habone Zanda, Hodi, needs and go ani attenda eat, or even in the Ecuador job, but needs and go in by it and it's not one day again, Dani. What's up in Kisito, Koroya, Tebo, in a bay. Baby had it even and hint can you give her away nasi cut all the channel need known harsh chin don't get a nap. I don't ask on him and I got so these con. Creature on so was even on the shit President Nygren, Vice President Montoya, Chief Justice Joanne Jane, Speaker Curley, Arabish on it. Not Dean needs I don't call ask when get a nap on the shit your son. I don't cut national but when bidi needing there's nothing on there's not a chapter in the I don't not on it will only give us one not okay I could that is Ingy Farm Board all crazy and let that come question Nikis a lot banana should either answer question hard yan I don't ask when you get but eat I in Handa and the sheet on Papas one don't and never Washington only yes. Naharchin Honda Benchiki das Moyat and the East Hatos at the last cup one. Nasco eat Nikidas Cargo, the large door, she Everson and Decoro, Bakan Hitcher, Edo, Koroya, Tehui, Catalana, as not. But also the never not need Niki than his show yet, I hope it's named the show. That we need our Koro Hosiko, cotton needle there. A hair need again any. Again, it then the need to get on a big arts, which is a horse and John got Yado Trish Conhatan Lado, Caution Lado, and the that the phone can not have 200 the chief, and that train had let out come, John got John, 18th at all something house, and that jingle, John, if it's undue. I don't know how strong a castle they had and Lado, 20 bins and so. So we would know if you had in the Ronald George had in the Ron John but just not upon the I need of it's not in number no age for then need of conquer as again a hair point that over ne Everson one second change of I need again Jesus Christ and amen.
Yeah, Shania Chair Nance for that invocation. I get to this in the hobby in the DJ. Next, I'd like to go ahead and go on to announcements. Does any of my colleagues have any announcements this morning? But then, yeah, Rodney?
And Madam Chair, members of RDC, there's going to be a nomination special council meeting today at 2 p.m. It'll be held at a nomination council chambers. Madam Chair, members of RDC, that is my announcement.
And again, I just want to thank all our human resources, employees across the Navajo Nation. I think this past week and even this morning, being involved in some discussions in regards to operations of the Navajo Nation government is key, and not realizing. And oftentimes we forget, with just the fast pace of the daily work that we all do, oftentimes we don't give that recognition or even that thank you to our employees. And this morning, I just want to remember our employees as they diligently try to carry out the goals and objectives of every division, department, and even enterprise, an organization and or business. So again, I just want to commend everyone here, and even as board of directors, you all play a vital role in carrying, the enterprises forward to carry out the mission and the goals and objectives to hopefully meet the services of our people out there. And again, I also want to thank the listeners on the call here this morning. So with that, I'd like to go on to item number 2 on the proposed agenda. Since we do have some board members here, I'd like to go ahead and have my colleagues introduce themselves this morning, and starting off with Vice Chair Honorable Johnson.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Casey Allen Johnson. I represent the communities of Coal Mine, Cameron, Talani Lake, Bird Springs, and Loop District 3 and 5 of Western Navajo, the Vice Chair of Resource and Development Committee. Just want to say good morning to everybody and help yourself to all the coffee back there. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Honorable Simpson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of RDC. Yes.
I asked
Good
them
morning,
if
thank
there's
you,
an
Stan.
answer that's here.
Say again, since Shadow, they have not been work from New Mexico.
What do you think? Yeah.
Just what you change. Such as no, all the in charge of one Ashkadida. Work no and easy, Lake Valley,
What do I do?
White Rock, since they Crown Point, none skis and Standing Rock. Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Honorable Chair Ness.
Akushila is an honor for written as in I represent 6 chapters, talk about San Juan and Hamzara Kulan Barnum and Newton. I don't then Schnenke, Hawasan Schla, or Zay Kachi, but she changed Sana Shadow, Han National. Chair.
Mr. Honorable Chair Nez, our legislative team that always keep us on top of our agenda meetings and every scheduling next meetings and going 2 months out. So starting with Mr. Tahi.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of RDC, those present, those online. My name is Rodney Tahi. I'm Legislative Advisor for Resource and Development Committee. I'm Kiani Sanchakene, and I'm originally from Arizona. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Mose?
Morning, Madam Chair, everyone online, everybody present. My name is Leonard Mose, National Law, Panagani, Pasis Street, actually, trade out for Marshall, Mexico.
Yeah, and then to our legal counsel, Ms. Khan, and then Ms. Quinn.
I am from the Haley Hills area and we happen to.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Honorable committee members, and everyone else in attendance. My name is Rita Flynn, and I'm the attorney with the Office of Legislative Counsel.
Thank you so much, our legislative services staff. And then again, we do have visiting officials that are present here in person, starting off with N2A Board of Directors. And also we have Navajo Gaming Enterprise here. And we do have our new appointments that are present here to the Navajo Tribal Utility Board, who is Mr. Anthony Montoya. Thank you, sir, for being here. And then we also have Mr. Harry Moore Jr. And thank you. And then we also have Legislative Services staff here as well. And then to the NTUA administration, thank you for being here. And I know, again, we have listeners on the call, and I know that we always have our federal partner, BIA, on the call as well. So next, I'd like to go ahead and go on to item number 3, reviewing and approving the agenda. So Rodney, it's time if you could please read the proposed agenda into the record.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, the proposed agenda reads as follows. Resource and Development Committee of the 25th Navajo Nations Council's regular meeting Monday, June 3rd, 2024, 10 a.m. Presiding Honorable Brenda Seuss, Chairperson, Honorable Casey Lana Johnson, Vice Chairperson. Location, Navajo Division of Transportation and via telecommunication. 1, call meeting to order, roll call, invocation announcements. 2, recognizing guests and visiting officials. 3, reviewing and approving the agenda. 4, reviewing and approving the journal, May 20th, 2024, regular meeting. 5, receiving reports. A, report from Lois Soroka, Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise and Navajo Nation Shopping Center, Inc. on the future development of Twin Arrows Navajo Casino Resort and related matters, executive session. B, report from Navajo Nation Environmental Protection Agency and their departments and programs on their current expenditure for the fiscal year and including budget form 2. C, report from Navajo Tribal Utility Authority Management Board of Directors on matters related to management, executive session. 6, old business, none. 7, new business. 8, legislation number 0112. -2 for an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, confirming the appointment of Harry Sonny Moore Jr., who possesses the qualification stated in 21 in NC section 9B2 with 10 years of experience in management and operation of utility business to serve on the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority Management Board of Directors for a term of 3 years. B, legislation number 0113-24. An action relating to Resource and Development Committee, confirming the appointment of Anthony Montoya, who possesses the qualifications stated in 21 in NC sections 9B2 with 10 years of experience in management and operation of utility business to serve on the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority Management Board of Directors for a term of 3 years. C, legislation number 0116-24, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving a budget reallocation in the amount of $1,068,991.15 from the Navajo Nation Division of Transportation's Navajo Nation Road Fund to fund the N36 NM 371 intersection improvement project. The White Horse Yard Maintenance Building and Business Unit C01561 in road projects and waiving Navajo Nation Road Fund Regulations, Section 7. D, approving a leadership meeting with the U.S. Department of the Interior, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Navajo Region, Division of Natural Resources, Department of Agriculture, and Department of Fish and Wildlife to discuss issues related to grazing permits for Tuesday, June 18th, 2024 at the Division of Transportation at 9 a.m. E, approving off-Navajo Nation travel to Phoenix, Arizona to attend and participate in the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, Navajo Division of Transportation training for June 20th to 21st at 2:24. Time to be determined as related to the FHWA Tribal Transportation Program. 8, the close of meeting announcements and adjournment. Madam Chair, members of RDC, that is the proposed agenda running to the record.
Thank you, Rodney. So with that, I'd like to get a motion to accept the agenda. Honorable Simpson, can I get a second? Honorable Vice Chair Johnson. Thank you, gentlemen. So with that, do we have any questions on this proposed agenda here before us this morning, colleagues? Chair Ness?
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. I would like to offer a motion for amendment 1. On amendment 1, let us delete under reports B from Navajo EPA. They can provide a report at another time. Due to our Navajo Nation Council special session today at 2 o'clock. And also with amendment 1 under new business, I'd like to propose that we have a consent agenda for legislation 0112-24, 0113-24, 0116-24. And have this new business go right after the consent agenda, right after the journals approval. And then reports, and after reports go back to new business, D&E. That will be my amendment for amendment 1. Thank you. Madam Chair, the reason I am also requesting the 2 members to the NTUA Board of Directors is that RDC did already do the interviews for the 2 new members. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Ness. In regards to, there is a motion on the floor for amendment number 1, colleagues, where we will delete item under receiving reports, letter B from Navajo Nation EPA. And also going to item number 7, new business, we will do consent agenda on A, B, and C. And then also, is that going to be? Then we go to receiving reports for A and C, which will be the new A and B. And then go back to new business, which will be D and E item. So we get those colleagues, may I get a second on this proposed amendment number 1? Honorable Simpson. So members of the committee, do we have any questions on the amendment here? Are we confused? You okay? Hakoshi? So with that, Rodney, could you please take roll call vote on amendment number 1?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is
I have
roll
a
call.
second, Honorable Simpson. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for amendment number 1 into the proposed agenda. Honorable Sean Ankle, how do you vote? Honorable Casey Ellen Johnson, how do you vote?
Oh, Vice Chair votes green.
Vice Chair Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse, Madam Chair, that's 3 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting.
Yeah, thank you for that, Rodney. With that, motion carries on amendment number 1, colleagues. Going back to main motion on approving the agenda. Do we have any additional amendments or comments, members of the committee? Going once, twice, Rodney, can we take roll call vote on main motion accepting the agenda?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for reviewing and approving the agenda. Honorable Sean Ankla, how do you vote? Honorable Casey Ellen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Ellen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Ellen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse, Madam Chair, that's 3 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Tahi. So with that, motion carries, and we do have an approved agenda for Monday, June 3rd, regular Resources Development Committee meeting. Going on to item number 4, reviewing and approving journal. We do have May 20th, 2024 regular RDC meeting journals that were emailed out by legislative staff. Members of the committee, may I get a motion for the, okay, so I do have Honorable Simpson and second by Vice Chair Johnson. Do we have any questions on the journal that was emailed out this past week, colleagues? Going once, twice, with that, Rodney, could you please take roll call vote?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for reviewing and approving the journal for May 20, 2024. Honorable Sean and Claudia vote. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Delga Rickness, votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse, Madam Chair, that's 3 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting. Yeah, we can do that.
So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and go on to item number 5. And Rodney, we do have consent agenda on legislation 0112-24, legislation 0113-24, and legislation 0116-24. So if you can please read these legislations into the record. So it'll be a while, because Rodney has to read the final authority legislations fully into the record, which are all 3 of them?
Yeah.
All 3 of them, so it'll be like 15 minutes.
Madam Chair, members of the Resource Development Committee, you have proposed legislation summary sheet for tracking number 0112-24, date May 14, 2024. Title of the resolution, proposed standing committee resolution, action relating to Resource and Development Committee confirming the appointment of Harry Sonny Moore Jr., who possesses the qualifications stated in 21 NC sections 9B2 with a 10 years of experience in management and operation in utility business to serve on the Navajo Tribal Utility Management Board of Directors for a term of 3 years. The purpose of this legislation will be to confirm the appointment of Mr. Harry Sonny Moore Jr. as the director of the NTA Management Board as set forth in 21 NC section 9B2 and appointing Mr. Moore to a term of 3 years. Resource and Development Committee has final authority of this legislation, was be read into the record in its entirety. The primary sponsor of this legislation is Honorable Brenda Jesus. For tracking number 0112-24, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, confirming the appointment of Harry Sonny Moore Jr., who possesses the qualifications stated in 21 NC section 9B2 with a 10 years of experience in management and operation of utility business and to serve on the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority Management Board of Directors for a term of 3 years. Section 1, authority. A, the Navajo Nation established the Resource and Development Committee as a Navajo Nation Council Standing Committee as such gave the committee oversight authority over public utilities. 2 NC sections 500AC. B, the Resource and Development Committee that shall appoint the directors of the Navajo Tribal Utility Management Board with 21 NC sections 9A CAP-19-24. C, the Resource and Development Committee has authority to grant final confirmation of appointments to enterprise boards. 2 NC section 501B9, section 2, finding the Navajo Nation established the Navajo Utility Tribal Authority NQA as an enterprise at 21 NC section 2. B, the NQA is authorized to acquire, construct, operate, and maintain a utility system throughout the Navajo Nation. 21 NC sections 1B. C, the general purpose of NQA is to operate, maintain, promote existing utility system, furnish electric, gas, water, sewer, utility services, generation, telecommunication, and information services for the benefit of the resident of the Navajo Nation, including the establishment, ownership, operation, and maintenance of electric generating, telecommunication, and information system on or off the Navajo reservation, and to provide utility generation, telecommunication, and information services on a nonprofit basis as a reasonable cost to residents of the Navajo Nation consistent with an economical operation of the enterprise. 21 NC section 501A 1 through 6. D, the NQA Management Board shall have the delegated authority and responsibility for the management operation of the enterprise. 21 NC section 7.1. E, the Management Board shall consist of 7 members, all of whom shall be appointed by the Resource and Development Committee. The 21 NC sections 9AF. Members of the board shall be called directors and shall have the following qualifications. 4 of the directors that shall be members of the Navajo Nation who speak English with fluency and who have significant education experience to qualify them for learning utility business practices and procedures and making sound judgment. 2, 4 of the directors that shall be persons not having less than 10 years experience in business management and substantial character, and at least 2 of such person shall have such experience in the management and operation of utility businesses. 2 in 21 NC sections 9B 1 through 2. G, on January 9th, 2024, Mr. Harry Sonny Moore Jr. was selected to be appointed to the NTA Management Board. An appointment letter is attached to Exhibit A. Mr. Harry Sonny Moore Jr.'s letter of interest is attached to Exhibit B. H, Mr. Moore is a member of the Navajo Nation with 40 years' experience as a district manager to NTUA at 3 NTUA district sites. His responsibilities include, but are not limited to supervising staff, establishing yearly operation and maintenance program, and preparing yearly operating budgets. Mr. Moore's resume is attached as Exhibit C. I, Mr. Harry Sonny Moore Jr., meets the qualification as required by 21 NSC Section 9B2. He has not less than 10 years of experience in business management and has experience in management and operation of utility business. J. The appointment of Mr. Harry Sonny Jr. Moore will be for a period of 3 years, 21 NSC Sections 9C2, Section 3, confirming appointment. The Navajo Nation Resources and Development Committee finds that Mr. Harry Sonny Moore Jr. meets the requisites or qualification to be appointed to the director for the NTUA Manager Board as set forth in 21 NC Section 9B2 with a 10 years experience in management and operating of utility business, hereby confirming Mr. Harry Sonny Moore Jr. to appointment for a term of 3 years beginning at the date of the certification of this resolution. 21 NC Section 9C2 attaches Exhibit A, which is a letter signed on January 9th, 2024. Title of the letter is Navajo Tribal Utility Authority Management Board, signed by Honorable Brenda Jesus. Attaches Exhibit B, which is a letter of interest dated August 7th, 2023, with the resume included. Then you have the first report, the Navajo Nation Legislative Branch Interpublic Review Summary for legislation number 0112-24, sponsors Honorable Brenda Jesus. This legislation was posted on May 16, 2024 at 4:23 PM. The 5-day comment period ended on May 21st, 2024. There was no comment supporting this legislation, no comment opposed to this legislation, and no comments and recommendation on this legislation. Then you have a tracking number 0113-24, date May 14, 2024, title of the resolution, proposed standing committee resolution and action relating to Resource Development Committee confirming the appointment of Anthony Montoya, who possesses the qualifications stated in 21 NC Section 9B2 with a 10 years of experience in management and operation of utility business to serve on the Navajo Tribal Utility Manager Board of Directors for a term of 3 years. The purpose of this legislation would be to approve the appointment of Mr. Harry Montoya as the director for the NTUA Manager Board as set forth in 21 NC Section 9B2 and appointing Mr. Harry Montoya for a term of 3 years. Resource Development Committee has final authority over this legislation, must be read into the record in its entirety. The primary sponsor of this legislation is Honorable Brenda Jesus for tracking number 0113-24, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee confirming the appointment of Mr. Anthony Montoya, who possesses the qualifications stated in 21 NC Section 9B2 with a 10 years of experience in management and operation of utility business to serve on the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority Manager Board of Directors for a term of 3 years. Section 1, Authority 8. The Navajo Nation established the Resource Development Committee as the Navajo Nation Council Standing Committee, and such gave it the committee oversight authority over public utilities. 2 NC Sections 500 AC. B, the Resource Development Committee shall appoint the directors to the Navajo Tribal Utility Manager Board. 21 NC Section 9A CAP-19-24. C, the Resource and Development Committee has authority to grant final confirmation of appointment to enterprise boards. 2 in NC Section 501B9. Section 2, finding the Navajo Nation established as the tribal utility, the authority NTUA as an enterprise. 21 in NC Section 2. B, the NTUA is authorized to acquire, construct, operate, and maintain utility systems throughout the Navajo Nation. 21 in NC Section 1B. C, the general purpose of NTUA is to operate, maintain, promote existing utility system, furnish electric, gas, water, sewer utility service, generation, and telecommunication information service for the benefit of residents of the Navajo Nation, including the establishment, ownership, operation, and maintenance of general electric generating, telecommunication, and information system on and off the Navajo Reservation, and to promote utility generation, telecommunication, and information services on a nonprofit basis at a reasonable rate to the residents of the Navajo Nation, consistent with the economic operation of the enterprise. 21 in NC Section 5A 1 through 6. D, the NTUA Manager Board shall have a delegate authority and responsibility for the management and operation of the enterprise. 21 in NC Section 7.1. E, the Manager Board shall consist of 7 persons, all of whom shall be appointed by the Resource and Development Committee. 21 in NC Section 9A. F, Board of the members of the board shall be called directors and shall have the following qualification. 1, board the members shall be members of the Navajo Nation who speak English with a fluency and who have significant education experience, qualifying them for learning utility business practices and procedures and making sound judgment. 2, 4 directors that shall be persons not having less than 10 years experience in business management and substantial character. At least 2 of such persons shall have experience in management and operating of a utility business. 21 in NC Section 9B 1 through 2. G, on January 9th, 2024, Mr. Harry Montoya was selected to be appointed by the N2A Management Board. His appointment letter is attached to the Exhibit A. Mr. Montoya, Anthony Montoya's letter of interest was attached to Exhibit H. Mr. Anthony Montoya has 35 years of experience, management and operating experience with the U.S. Department of Energy, DOE, Western Area Power Administration, WAPA, including over 25 years of experience of executive level. Mr. Montoya resume is attached to Exhibit C. Mr. Anthony Montoya meets the qualification as required by 21 NC 9B2. He has not less than 10 years of experience in business management and has experience in management and operating of utility business. J, the appointment of Mr. Anthony Montoya will be for a period of 3 years, 21 NC Section 9C. Section 3, confirming appointment. The Nomination Council Resource and Development Committee finds that Mr. Anthony Montoya meets the requisite qualification to be appointed as the director for the NTA Management Board as set forth in 21 NC Sections 9B2 with 10 years of experience in management and operation of utility business, and hereby appoints Mr. Anthony Montoya for a term of 3 years beginning on the date of the certification of this resolution. 21 NC Section 9BC attaches Exhibit A, which is the letter dated January 9th, 2024. Title of the letter is Navajo Tribal Utility Authority Management Board, signed by Honorable Brenda Jesus. Attaches Exhibit B, which is the letter of interest from Mr. Anthony Harry Montoya. Attaches Exhibit C, which is the resume of Anthony H. Montoya, PhD. Then you have the first report, the Navajo Nation Legislative Branch Intermittent Review Summary for legislation number 0113-24. Sponsors Honorable Brenda Jesus. This legislation was posted on May 16, 2024 at 4:37 p.m. The 5-day comment period ended on May 21st, 2024. With no comments supporting this legislation, no comments opposing this legislation, no comments recommendation on this legislation. Then you have tracking number 0116-24, date May 22nd, 2024. Title of the resolution, proposed standing committee resolution, and action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving a budget reallocation in the amount of $1,068,991.15 for the Navajo Nation Division of Transportation, Navajo Nation Road funded to fund the N37 NM 371 intersection improvement project, the White Horse Yard Maintenance Building, and the business unit C01561 NDOT road project, and waiving Navajo Nation Road Fund Regulations, Section 7. The purpose of this legislation is to approve a budget reallocation of $1,068,991.15 from the Navajo Nation Road Funds to fund 3 projects. N36-NM 371 intersection improvement project, the White Horse Yard Maintenance Building, business unit C01561 NDOT road projects. This legislation would also waive Navajo Nation Road Fund Regulations, Section 7. Resource and Development Committee has final authority of this legislation to be read into the record in its entirety. The primary sponsor of this legislation is Honorable Danny Simpson for tracking number 0116-24. An action relating to Resource and Development Committee approving a budget reallocation in the amount of $1,068,991.15 from the Navajo Nation Division of Transportation, Navajo Nation Board, Navajo Nation Road Fund to fund the N36 NM 371 intersection improvement project, the White Horse Yard Maintenance Building, and business unit C01561 NDOT road projects, and waiving Navajo Nation Road Fund Regulations at Section 7. Being acted in Section 1, authority. A, the Resource and Development Committee is the standing committee of the Navajo Nation Council, 21-2 in NC Section 500A. B, the Resource and Development Committee is an oversight committee of the Navajo Nation Division of Transportation, 2 in NC Section 501C. C, pursuant to 21 in NC Section 185A, subject to existing funding or contractual requirements of committee, may reallocate funds appropriate by the Navajo Nation Council to the Division Department Program over the committees have oversight authority, provided that funds are determined available by the controller. Further provide that such reallocation is upon the request of affected division, department, or program, and further provide that allocation of funds by 2/3 of the members of the committee, board, or commission. Section 2 finding. A, the Navajo Nation Road Fund Regulations as approved by the resolution RDCJN-36-14 regulate the Navajo Nation road funds, which is funded by the fuel excise tax. These regulations states at Section 7, use of unexpected funds, quote, any unexpected funds within the fiscal year shall be reverted back into the fund balance and eligible for reallocation for the funding fiscal year specific to sections 5, eligible road maintenance and road improvement activities, unquote. B, a request has been made by the Navajo Nation Division of Transportation to reallocate excessive funds for a 34 complete Navajo Nation road fund projects. The Navajo Nation budget forms regarding these 34 projects are attached as Exhibit A. C, the reallocation fund will be used to fund 3 projects. In the 36/NM 371 intersection improvement project, the White Horse Yard Maintenance Building and Business Unit C01561 in that road project, the Navajo Nation budget forms of these projects are attached as Exhibit B. D, the Section 164 review document form number 022445 titled 2024 Road Funds FET reallocation is attached to Exhibit C. E, the Section 164 review document number 022445 shows that the Office of Management Budget provided a review of the request of 5.16.24 and found it significant. See Exhibit C. F, a memorandum dated May 16, 2023 from the Office of the Controller stated that when the balances were running at amount of $1,068,991.15 was available balance. The May 16, 2023 memorandum is attached as Exhibit D. G, the Navajo Nation Department of Justice on 5/16/24 found Section 164 review document number 022445 legally sufficient to see Exhibit C. Section 3, waiving Navajo Nation road fund regulations RDCJN-36-14 by preventing the unexpected funds from reverting to the Navajo Nation Road Fund balance, and Resource Development Committee waives the Navajo Nation Road Fund regulations RDCJN-36-14, allowing the unexpected funds within the fiscal year form reverting back to the Navajo Nation Road Fund balance. Section 4, approving the reallocation. A, the Navajo Nation Resource Development Committee hereby approves the budget reallocation in the amount of $1,068,991.15
I'm just gonna do.
from 34 completed Navajo Nation Road Fund projects as seen in Exhibit A to fund the 3 projects described in Exhibit B in the 36 in M 371 intersection improvement projects, the White Horse Yard Maintenance Building and Business Unit C015661 in dot road projects. B, the Navajo Nation's Resource Development Committee hereby directs the staff of the Office of Management and Budget to establish the necessary business unit for the relocation fund. Attaches Exhibit A, which is a summary list of 34 in road fund projects, job status, inquired prints of the 34 in road projects. Attaches Exhibit B, which is the 164 review number 22445. Resource Development Committee resolution to relocate $1,071,453.53 from the 34 previous approved FET projects. Attaches Exhibit 3, which is the document number 022445, the Section 164 review dated 0325-2024. Attaches Exhibit D, which is a memorandum dated May 16, 2024. Title is 0164022445, the 2024 road fund reallocation. Then you have the first report for Navajo Nation Legislative Branch and review summary for legislation number 0116-24, sponsors Honorable Danny Simpson. This legislation was posted on May 23rd, 2024 at 8:48 p.m. The 5-day comment period ended on May 28th, 2024. There was 9 comments supporting this legislation, no comments opposing this legislation, and 1 comment recommendation on this legislation. The 9 comments supporting this legislation is from the Upper Fruitland chapter, the the community chapter, the Tifsho Scott chapter, Shiprock chapter, Nunazad chapter, Navajo Agriculture Product Industry, Navajo Transitional Energy Company, Navajo Nation, Gaming Enterprise Board of Directors, and Farmington Municipal School District. The 1 comment on this legislation comes from the Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise. Madam Chair, members of RDC, that is legislation number 0112-2401-230, legislation number 0116-24, read into the record in its entirety.
Thank you so much, Rodney, for that. So with that, members of the committee, may I get a motion? Chair Nez, and then second by Vice Chair Johnson. Members of the, Rodney, can we take the this to roll call vote, please.
Madam Chair, members of RDC,
Our legal counsel, Ms. Khan.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, in this situation, one of the legislation 0116-24 requires a two-thirds vote of the RDC. And because it's a reallocation of funds, when any standing committee reallocates funds that they have authority over, it requires a two-thirds vote of the committee. In cases where it's a two-thirds vote requirement, the chair is allowed to vote.
So we're good.
So this consent agenda would require two-thirds vote for the whole consent agenda because of that one particular resolution.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Khan, for that clarification. So with that, members of the committee, it was just made known to us that legislation 11624 requiring a two-thirds vote membership of the committee. So it's time, Rodney, could you please take this to roll call vote on consent agenda?
Madam Chair,
Madam
members-
Chair.
Ternez?
May I, for the record, since I was the one who made the motion, also state that legislation 0116-24 will require two-thirds vote on the record. Thank you.
Yes, and I thank you, Chair Ness. Mr. Tahi?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for new business A consent agenda. Honorable Shannon Cloudy, vote. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote? Honorable Ricky Nez, votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson, votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse, Honorable Brenda Jesus, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Brenda Jesus, votes green. Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and 1 excuse.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Tahi. So with that, motion carries on the consent agenda. Thank you, colleagues. So going on to receiving reports, letter A, report from Lewis and Roca, Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise and the Navajo Nation Shopping Center, Inc. on the future developments of Twin Arrows Navajo Casino Resorts and related matters. Colleagues, this particular report will require executive session, and we do have presenters, Mr. Stephen Hart, who's the outside legal counsel, and also Quincy Nate, the chairman, board of directors for Navajo Gaming Enterprise, along with Mr. Ronald Rozier. Thank you. Outside legal counsel for Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise, and we have Mr. Taylor, who is the chief executive officer for the Navajo Nation Shopping Center, present here as well. So I'd like to go ahead and ask Navajo Gaming Enterprise just the length of time you would require to be in executive session, and this would also include possible Q&A. One hour? Okay, so 1 hour, members of the committee. So with that, I would also request. Okay, okay. So, Chair, do you want to do that before we go into executive session?
Yeah.
Fukushi? Okay, so, with that, I'd like to go ahead and pause here for, a couple of minutes. I know that, we had, as Resources and Development Committee, a couple of months ago, we had conducted interviews for the Navajo Tribal Utility Board of Director seats. I believe there were 2 that were vacant. And at this time, since through the consent agenda, they have been approved by Resources and Development Committee, who was final authority. And I know that they traveled a ways, especially with Mr. Montoya, just to allow them opportunity for an introduction and just giving us a really quick synopsis of what they hope to achieve as Board of Directors for Navajo Tribal Utility Authority. So it's time I'd like to go ahead and yield the floor over first to Mr. Sonny Moore Jr. And so if you can't come up here, Mr. Moore, and and I don't know, is it loud enough for him just to talk? Yeah, so just go ahead and sit there and just allow some time to you, and also a congratulatory to you as well.
Yeah, been I Resource and Development Committee though. Committee members and since so the quiz Canada not so no out of the Zaho to Miki out of Bahinsen out of Nizag with a NTUA bunch. I worked with the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority for about 28 to 29 years. I go then Shiniki Aro totally leading that created that's a shindo to the chili that's a shape. Aro can't cheat a shanale. That is an inch. I guess it's just a kid in ya say Aho, yeah, standing around New Mexico. I couldn't get Shah's to happen. That's no a 12 to the other Shanan is not here. Go out of cash then. Shama 93 Benach on the Shadawilia. Shidoshi specifically as and long. I've served my community. I started with Club C back in 2013, and then I became the Secretary Treasurer for Tohatchi chapter. Currently, I'm working as the president for the Tohatchi chapter. So, for those of you that are familiar with our local governments, it's a lot of work being the chapter. However, I'm also interested in and NTUA has served me well. And I started in the lower ranks, and I worked my way up to a district manager position for about 14 years. And it still provides me income to this day with a pension. I'm real grateful for that. And just in return, I'd like to contribute on my part as to whatever the goals and objectives are for NTUA right now. Hopefully they'll provide in orientation. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of infrastructures that's being built, like the San Juan Gallup water line, the current ARPA projects that still have yet to be built. I'm just interested in seeing how NTUA is going to work through all of this. There's going to be a lot of capital assets being added. I'd like to represent all of my people from the viewpoint of being consumers. Their mission statement interests me when they talk about affordable rates. So I know that the annual budget, the employers' compensation is quite large. O&M is quite large, and just thinking about all the additional O&M that's going to take place. And I just want to have a part in those particular areas. What are they? Yeah, they should solve it. Yeah, in this case, I'm sure there's other things that need to be considered, but I just met the chairperson, and hopefully we'll can get started. They are listening to their report. They're on that agenda. So I'm real proud for my appointment, and I'll represent my people well. And so they obviously.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Moore. And again, welcome aboard to the Enterprise NTUA as Board of Directors. And We look to having a good working relationship with you and all the other board members as well, in hopes that we can diversify the utility industry here on Navajo Nation. Those are the members of the committee. Danielle. Ogoshi. So yeah, Mr. Moore, and then also I'd like to give opportunity at this time to Mr. Montoya.
Morning, honorable committee members. Thank you very much for the opportunity to serve on the NTUA Board of Directors. My name is Anthony Montoya. As a little bit of background, my mother's family was from a little farming community called Ortiz. It's on the New Mexico-Colorado border, little ranching community. My father's family was from El Rito, New Mexico, which is a little farming and ranching community north of Santa Fe. I was born in Montrose, Colorado, lived on a little sheep farm for my formative years, and then grew up in Denver, Colorado. Went to engineering school, and when I graduated, I started work with the U.S. Department of Energy Western Area Power Administration. I've been with them for about 35 years. Early in my career, did some work for NTUA at several of the substations around Kayenta, Longhouse Valley. Became familiar with the utility through them. Later in my career, I moved to Phoenix, where I was served as an executive for WAPA's Desert Southwest Regional Office. That office covers the NTUA territory as well, and I continue to work with NTUA and a lot of tribal entities throughout the Southwest. I was always impressed by the services and the capabilities and what NTUA brought to its community. Whenever I was involved in economic development authorities with other tribes, I always held NTUA up as an example of what could be done if they formed a tribal utility and focused on providing transformative services to their communities. Received a PhD while I was down in Phoenix from Arizona State, and then I went back to Colorado, where I was Chief Operating Officer for Western Area Power Administration for about 10 years. The Chief Operating Officer, I oversaw executive day-to-day activities for our services to over 600 communities, 350 substations, 17,000 miles of high voltage transmission lines. We're basically the 7th largest transmission utility in the United States. I retired about 5 years ago and went to work as a consultant, working to protect both the DOE assets and national utility assets against foreign threats. I was in the intelligence community, and I'm continuing to do that part-time today. My aspirations and the reason why I would like to, the things I would like to achieve as a board member, I see the transformative value of electric utilities. I've lived it, electric and all utilities. I've lived it for 40 years. Want to make sure that the Navajo community receives the value that tribal utilities can provide. I feel very strongly that this is a way to give my expertise back to the community, and in the meantime, provide valuable services. I'm looking forward to being able to do that. Near term, some of the things that I want to focus on are sustainability. NTUA has been extremely successful the last 15 or so years. That is hard to sustain. So one of the things I would like to focus on is to continue to provide low cost, affordable, reliable utility service into the future. With that, I'll give my time back to the.
Thank you for that, Mr. Montoya. And again, welcome aboard. So since we do have NTUA and I believe we have intact in the house here today. One of the things that I just want to just have you put on your radar, and we're going to also have Navajo Nation Oil and Gas. We, as enterprise of the Navajo Nation, we often work in silos. And I think now that you know, the congressional leaders initiative is renewable energy, and having the fossil fuel industry slowly phasing out to a net 0% carbon emissions by 2045. You know, we as Navajo Nation have been so dependent on the fossil fuel industry to light up the Navajo Nation and also the southern part of Arizona and down into southern part of California. So one of the questions now as leadership here on the 25th Resources and Development Committee is that there is big discussions on carbon capture sequestration. How is NTUA for planning? You know, now that Four Corners Power Plant, you know, 2031 is just right around the corner. And I really think that as enterprises, we need to start working together, not work in silos no more, but what is NTUA doing to forecast this particular initiative with what we're calling solar energy, because we know that the solar energy part of it is also a concern by a lot of people across, you know, the globe, where cloudy days, it's not reproducing energy as it should be. And you're only maximum out on battery life for probably like about 4 hours. So aside, you know, the solar industry, we've got the wind turbine, and that is that even how much of electric voltage does that provide on a daily basis, especially, you know, with some wind and maybe with no wind that we get. And then there's also the discussion of carbon capture. And then there's also the other discussion of hydrogen and natural gas, but we just want to understand in hopes that we do not impact, you know, going forward electricity usage for our people, because as you know, with the ARPA dollars that the Navajo Nation was fortunate to be blessed with, we're actually putting more developments out there. And we've heard, I was at Arizona State University a couple of weeks ago, and it's very interesting to hear the Salt River Project, our SRP, and also looking at APS. You know, they cannot keep up with the growth demand in regards to electricity in the bigger metropolitan areas. And how are we meeting that demand here on Navajo Nation going forward? You know, so these are the big questions, and as leadership, we'd like to start, you know, this dialogue way ahead of time so that we're not trying to find out solutions at the 11th hour. So just put that on your radar. That would be a request by Resources and Development Committee. And I really believe that will be a start of a great dialogue among the enterprises, in hopes that we start or you all start strategizing the plan. So I just want to put that. And again, thank you, Mr. Montoya, for your introductions and welcome to the Navajo Tribal Utility Board. And again, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again, gentlemen, and welcome to the NTUA Board of Directors. So I'd like to go back to the agenda. Again, executive session with Navajo Gaming Enterprise. So aside the individuals that are on the list for the as presenting here this morning, is there anyone else that you would like to allow Mr. Hart to be in the executive session?
Michelle Dodson, if all possible. I'm not sure how much room we have. As
Would we
we
have
talked
enough room?
about that room, we might have space with it.
Okay, we'll go ahead and have Rodney check. So it's Miss Michelle Dotson and Ophelia Bradley. Okay. From Gaming Enterprise, and we'll have members of the committee along with our legal counsel here, Ms. Khan and Ms. Quinn, and also Mr. Tahi, to comprise of the individuals that will be in the executive session. Vice Chair? Yeah. So if we haven't, do we have enough seats? There's 12 seats, so we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we're gonna make it 12 seats. Well, actually 13, 14. And then maybe have speaker's office, Miss Jim. Okay, would you at this time, I'd like to request to Navigating Enterprise that if we can have Miss Jim from Office of the Speaker to be in attendance as well. Okay, so with Miss lots of Jim, so that makes it 15.
There's extra seat in there.
There's extra seats. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go into the board, little small conference room here to the left with the individuals that were named, again, for 1 hour, individuals that were named. And I do have a motion by Honorable Chair Nez and a second by Vice Chair Johnson to go into executive session for 1 hour. We will be starting at 11:20. And right now, we'd like to go ahead and take it to roll call vote, Rodney.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for entering the executive session for receiving reports. Item A. Honorable Shannon Cloud, you vote. Honorable Casey Ellen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Ellen Johnson, vote screen.
Honorable Casey Ellen Johnson, vote screen. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Golden Rick knows vote screen.
Honorable Ricky Nez, vote screen. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and enter into the boardroom here to the left or to the east here. And we will be in executive session for 1 hour, so the rest of you are more than welcome to stay here. And we will start at 11:20 and be out at 12:20. Thank you. Okay, thank you, colleagues, and thank you to Navajo Gaming Enterprise for their discussion. So it's time. I would need a motion to exit out of executive session. Vice Chair Johnson, may I get a second?
Second.
Honorable Claw. And with that, Rodney, can we take a roll call vote to exit out of executive session?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for exiting out of executive session for receiving reports, item A at 12:29. Honorable Shannon Claw, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Shannon Claw votes green. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Delegate Rick Nez, votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse, Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting.
Okay, so with that, we exit out of executive and now going back to main motion to accept the report from Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise. I would need a motion. Vice Chair Johnson, may I get a second?
Second.
Honorable Simpson. And at this time, I'd like to go ahead and request for a roll call vote to accept the report.
And Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for receiving reports, item A. Honorable Shannon Claw, do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Shannon Claw votes green. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Delegate Rick Nez, votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
So we're gonna do
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse, Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting.
Griffey, thank you for that, and the motion carries accepting report for Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise. Going on to item letter B, report from NTUA Management Board of Directors on matters related to management. This is going to be executive session, but before we go into executive session, I'd like to go ahead and request the length of time that we think we're going to be in executive session. About an hour. Hour and a half, and how long would you, Chair?
We could cover our issues.
Okay,
But I don't know the questions.
okay,
1 hour.
1 hour. Okay, 1 hour, she will be in executive session. But before we do that, I'd like to go ahead and request my colleagues of the committee if we could have a debriefing for just 10 minutes, and then we'll come back out and go into executive session here. So at this time, colleagues, for another 10 minutes in the small boardroom over here for debriefing with our legal counsel, and then we'll come back and restart the executive session. And we'll have the pertinent individuals present in the executive session. Rodney?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, I would recommend that we go into executive session since this is also dealing with the client attorney privilege. Ms. Mariana Khan can do the update with legislative counsel to RDC. Right after that, NTUA can go into the executive session with the rest of our RDC members. Let's do all of it.
We want to go into the room.
Executive session.
Yes, Rodney, thank you for that recommendation. Okay, so I would need a motion. I'm sorry, Chair Nazza.
I would like to motion that we go into executive session from now till about 1:45, 1:40, so that'll give us enough time to drive over to.
And chambers, okay. So executive session at 12:32 to 1:40. And I have a motion on the floor and I need a second.
Second.
By Honorable Claw. I'd like to take it to roll call vote.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for entering into executive session for receiving report, item B. Honorable Shannon Claw, do you vote? Green. Honorable Shannon Claw votes green. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Delegate Rick Nez, votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote? Green. Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse, Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting, entering the executive session for 1 hour.
Okay, so again, board members, just wait here. We're gonna be in the boardroom for 10 minutes and we'll come out and we'll go ahead and start. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon. As we return back from our executive session, at this time, members of the committee, I'd like to get a motion to exit out of executive session. Vice Chair Johnson and second by Honorable Danny Simpson. And Rodney, could you please take roll call vote to exit out of executive session?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for exiting out of executive session at 1:15 PM. Honorable Sean Ankla, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Sean Ankla votes green. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Logan Rickman votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, the Madam Chair not voting.
Okay, so with that, we're out of executive session and now going to the report from Navajo Tribal Utility Authority Management Board of Directors. At this time, members of the committee, may I get a motion to accept the report? Going once, twice. Okay, so there is no motion to accept the report, so Resources and Development Committee is not going to accept the report from NTUA Management Board of Directors. So going on to old business, there's none. Back to new business, letter D. Approving a leadership meeting with the United States Department of the Interior Bureau of Indian Affairs, Navajo Region, Division of Natural Resources, Department of Agriculture, Department of Fish and Wildlife to discuss issues regarding the grazing permits for Tuesday, June 18th, 2024, Division of Transportation at 9 a.m., which is here. May I get a motion for this particular discussion?
Motion.
Honorable Simpson, may I get a second?
Second.
Honorable Chair Nance. And again, this has been an ongoing issue, so what, for members that can make it, you're more than welcome to attend the meeting. Going to roll call vote, Rodney.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is a roll call vote for approving the leadership meeting with the Department of the Interior regarding the grazing permit. Honorable Sean Ankla, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Sean Ankla votes green. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Logan Rickman votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, the Madam Chair not voting.
Okay, so with that, motion carries. Going on to item letter E, approving off Navajo Nation travel to Phoenix, Arizona to attend and participate in the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration Navajo Department of Transportation training on June 20th and 21st, 2024. Time is to be determined. It relates to the Federal Highway Administration Tribal Transportation Program. May I get a motion for this travel?
Motion.
Honorable Claw and second by Vice Chair Johnson. Do we have any questions on this, members of the committee? Going once, twice, Rodney, can we take it to roll call vote?
And Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for approving off Navajo Nation travel and attending a training with Navajo Division of Transportation. Honorable Sean Ankla, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Sean Ankla votes green. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Logan Rickman votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting.
Okay, so with that, motion carries. Going on to item number 8, close of meeting, any final announcements, colleagues? Going once, twice, Rodney?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, legislative branch was given a 2-hour administrative leave for tomorrow for New Mexico voters to vote in the New Mexico primary.
Okay, thank you for that, Rodney. So I'd like to call for adjournment at 1:54. May I get a motion?
Motion.
Vice Chair Johnson, may I get a second?
Second.
Honorable Claw, roll call vote.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is a roll call vote for adjournment. Honorable Sean Ankla, how do you vote?
Green.
Honorable Sean Ankla votes green. Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Allen Johnson votes green. Honorable Ricky Nez, how do you vote?
Logan Rickman votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote? Green. Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto, how do you vote? Excuse Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting for adjournment at 1:45 PM.
Okay, thank you for that. And we're off to Navajo Nation Council for a special session.